Welcome back, everyone. So today I'm in my shed. Sorry, it's a really big mess, but I kind of wanted to do this outside just because the weather's pretty nice. So sorry if you hear all of the noises. The birds I don't mind, but the cars driving by and my husband's working on our back porch. So I've got everything going on, but I really wanted to do this kind of outside. And I tried to hide it in the shed so it's not as noisy. Anyway, so some of my plants that I already started are getting, I think, a little bit too big for their starter pots. So I kind of want to upsize them in something a little bit bigger, give them a little bit more room to grow, and hopefully make them a little bit stronger. Yesterday, I believe it was, we stopped by my local nursery and I found this bag of this Spilma Organic Seed Starting Premium Potting Mix. Now, I know usually once you bump your plants up, you don't really need like a seed starting mix, but I'm going to mix this with some regular potting mix, and also I have these worm castings I'm going to add in there just for a little bit more like a fertilizer, nutrients, and we'll see how that works. I know there are also liquid fertilizers you can add into your plants to, you know, fertilize them and give them a little bit more like nutrients. But I'm not going to be using that today. I'm going to try this mix and see how they'll be doing. If I notice they're looking a little bit too leggy, or if the leaves start yellowing, it looks like they're not getting enough nutrients, then I'll add that in. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. So I'm just going to use this big, this is actually like a cement mixing tub. I stole it from my husband. I'm going to dump everything in here, mix it all up, and then start potting them up. I have these cups that I've been saving from flowers that I bought. They're nice, sturdy, proven winner type cups, or pots you could call them, and I'm going to be using these. I used these last year too. I love them. They're pretty deep, and it should be a good size up until these plants are ready to go in the garden. I think I'm going to start off with my cucumbers. What I did is I just used a little bit of like painter's tape, masking tape, I don't know what it's called, and labeled the cups. This way I could peel it off and reuse the cups for next year. So I labeled most of them. I still have a couple I didn't label, but I'm just going to go ahead and get this mixed up and start potting up my plants. I'm actually going to use gloves today because my nails are kind of pretty. They're still probably going to get messed up, but it's fine. It's fine. Really nice and fluffy. Okay. Let's see. So like this. I'm just going to break it up a little bit. Sure how much I'm supposed to add, honestly. I'm just going to sprinkle it in there and hope for the best. Okay. I have some regular potting mix down here. Let me just grab something to scoop it up with. Or actually, no, I'm just going to take this bucket, start dumping it. Nice. So my first up, I have National Pickling. Just gonna add a little bit of dirt. I'm gonna fill up a couple of them. Oh, I only need one of those. So I have this adorable little shovel. I don't know if you can see. I'm going to use this for these bigger size containers. And then I have like a plastic fork I'll use for those other ones that are a little bit skinnier and taller to get in, so I try not to disrupt the roots. Okay, let's do Chicago first. Hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm actually going to put it right in here. It'll be a little bit easier maybe. Ooh, look at all of those roots. Those look so nice and healthy. Pop it right in here. Smells delicious. It smells like a cucumber, actually. I put enough soil in there, like up to the leaves, but not touching the leaves. This way when it gets watered, the leaves aren't sitting in water. But those look really nice and healthy. So one down and a couple more to go. Once I have them all potted up, then I'll go through and water them. If the soil settles, then I'll add a little bit more soil. I am all done with the cucumbers and loofahs and the honey nut squash. Now I'm going to be moving on to the tomatoes. And these cups also, when you buy a lot of flowers, they come with this little kind of like tray thing that I can stick all of the cups in, and it helps to transport them so you don't transport them individually by each cup. So that's kind of nice. And there's drainage on the bottom, so when I water it, it just drains right through. I did go ahead and label all the cups for the tomatoes as well. The tomatoes, they're just getting a little bit long, so I want to get them in some more soil. Like some of the cucumbers and stuff had really good roots, and so putting them in bigger cups will give them more room to establish bigger and stronger roots. Sorry, this lighting is pretty bad. The sun's kind of going down, so it's like brighter right here, and Eddie's back there drilling, but I fill the cup about halfway, depending on how big the roots are. Okay, so the tomatoes don't have as long roots as the cucumbers did. They still do. Sorry, I don't know if you can tell. There are some roots, and I'm going to plant these a little bit deeper. Still want to be gentle, not to break the stem because it is a baby. Just fill it up. The soil is right up to the bottom leaves, but once I water it, it will settle just a little bit, and hopefully won't be touching the leaves. I'm all finished potting these up. I'm so excited. I'm so happy that it's done. I've been looking at them every day when I water them and thinking, okay, I need to pot these up. I need to pot these up. And so finally that is done. I didn't water them yet. I'm going to take them out of here and bring them outside. Sorry, the sunlight's like right there. I'll take them outside and water them. This way the water can drain outside and not on this table. And I have 3 more cups over there. They didn't fit on the table. And then as far as the lettuce, the kale, and those things, I decided I'm not going to pot those up. I'm just going to try hardening them off. So I'll bring them outside when it's a little bit warmer. And obviously not put them in direct sun, but just kind of leave them in the shade. Just kind of get them used to the outside. And then once I think they're ready, I'll just plop them straight into the garden so I don't have to keep repotting them. They should be fine. But yeah, so I just wanted to encourage you. I know sometimes it can seem intimidating or kind of scary to start seeds, but it really isn't that hard, or it's not that bad. Once you get started, you'll see it's actually exciting and encouraging once you start seeing things grow. And you don't have to have these cups. I've seen people buy those like those red Solo cups and just pop some holes in those, or even styrofoam cups. You can use those. It doesn't have to be fancy. People use all different kind of containers. I've even seen people use like you can collect your old sour cream containers or to-go containers. Just clean them out really well. Make sure you put some holes in there, and that'll even work. Just whatever you have, I just encourage you to start. Just try it out and I think the more you do it, the more confident you'll feel. I definitely am not an expert. This is just how I do it. There are plenty other ways, and if you watch other videos of people starting seeds, everyone has their own method, and for me, this is kind of how my mom did it, so I grew up kind of seeing this, and so I feel like this is how I've just always done it, or I feel like every year I might switch it up a little bit, but still, you grow and you learn. And I think I also will top these off with a little bit of vermiculite that is inside. I forgot to bring it out here. That'll just help to kind of cover the soil and prevent any, I think it's algae that grows on top, you know, the green stuff, if it stays wet for too long. And also another thing is I might put a fan inside the room and just turn it on a really low setting and just kind of have it slowly rotate so they get some kind of breeze or some kind of airflow. It kind of mimics the outside and it hardens them off a little bit. Some people too will kind of go in and just very lightly, you don't want to break the stem, just kind of ruffle your plants a little bit. I know it sounds silly, but again, it kind of gets them used to being blown around in the wind, and so this way when you bring them outside, there's no shock. Trying to think if there's anything else, but yeah, I'm excited to see these grow and then to plant them in the garden. If you have any suggestions, please feel free to leave them down below. And I hope this video was helpful and informative and hopefully encouraging. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate your support, and I will see you all next time.